Here we go. Let's see if I'm spirit-filled. 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 I would say at most medium. Some guy just honked at me. Well, there's more to life than honking at me. I'm going to Chick-fil-A, get some food here. Support a Christian organization. Put your shoulder to the wheel, to the wheel. Put your shoulder to the wheel. When I was 7 years old, a question popped into my head. Would you run around the block for a dime, 10 cents? That's more money than I have. And I love money. The answer I gave, remember, I am a little kid, 7 years old. Yes, but it's because I want to run the block anyway. That's terrifying. Combine a human with a money demon. I mean, there's no way I just want to run the block for no reason. Now, maybe, but maybe not. I see women do pornography for money, making something like $2,300 an hour. Obviously, a very sarcastic pay. They're not getting paid that much. But you ask them, why are you doing this? And they never say for the money. Well, some of them do. But there was a slut, one of the biggest sluts, one of the bigger ones. I forget her name, and I'm glad, kind of. That's not knowledge that my mind holds on to. I do know a few porn stars' names, which is unfortunate. I used to watch porn and stuff like that. It's basically naked people having sex. It was so funny. I asked somebody I knew. It was a woman. And I was like, I don't know if you've ever heard of pornography. And she's like 25. And she goes, I've heard of it. It's pretty funny. But they always say they want to have sex. Like they want to get effed. I want to get effed. And no is the answer. There was this slut, and she was talking about there was this slut, and she says, I like doing it off camera a little bit more. And I'm talking one of the biggest sluts. And it's like, wow. If she likes doing it off camera more, it's the cameras, they're a big problem, and they hurt the experience for them. There was this guy who was doing it, and he says, no one likes doing it. And that makes me feel pretty bad about it. Makes me feel like it's closer to hellfire. Now, is there one or two people who like doing it on camera more than off camera? I guess so. Makes them feel like something, maybe they're truly wicked. I don't know. I mentioned this last video, but I saw this video online. It was about the bottomless pit, and it's this evil place, and it's the lowest hell, and there's no bottom. They call it the core of the earth. What was interesting is that the person was horrified even though they found out what it was. It's just no love, no learning, and all pleasure and comfort. Pleasure, it's a pleasure, comfort, bottomless hole. It's the glutton that gets all the food and infinite stomach. And he can stomach the food. And the food is delicious. But there's no spiritual growth, no friends, no love, and no learning. No Jesus, no God. Just comfort and pleasure. And the more you think about it, the more you realize how hellish that would be. Being in a jail cell, stuffing yourself with food, and never wanting to get out. Never thinking to cry out to get out of there, because all you want is another piece of chicken. And also, it's way better than Dante's Inferno. And I like it for that reason. It's like a heaven-hell mixer, but mostly hell when you really think about it. And I feel like the porn stars are in the bottomless pit. They're being driven by their flesh constantly. There was, I heard this story. This girl goes on Vlad Chernak, or whatever his last name is. I have a hard time pronouncing it. But she was reading the book of Revelation or something. Found out the adulterous woman, people who sleep with her, they get crushed. Oh, I'm going to Chick-fil-A. I just want their little chickens, ironically. I'm going for the pleasure comfort route, but no. I learn from my own videos, not just when I first say it, but when I listen back to it a month from now. Sometimes I'll say things a little bit different than I remember saying them. And I can learn for myself, which is pretty funny. But I want to control a nation with mass psychology. Christians these days, 13, 14, 15 years old, don't know a single Bible verse, barely pray. You ask them their favorite Bible verse, they say 6, 7. I can make up my own memes. And I want the American people to know I'm not lying, I'm being sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic, I'm joking. And I am going to lie one time, and it's going to be and I'll admit what the lie is later. It'll be a black lie, and I have a Jack Sparrow's pistol, and there's one bullet in there, and that's my lie. In other words, I'm going to be an honest politician, being rich in sarcasm and jokes. And you're going to have to pick up on the tone, and the tone isn't always going to be known. And I'm going to say things that are completely false. I'm a horrible Guitar Hero player. Or so the Germans would have us believe. And I'm going to bring back that norm. Or so the Germans would believe. It means the statement's 0 to 100% true. Whoops, this is Jack in the Box. I don't know how Jack in the Box competes with In-N-Out Burger and Chick-fil-A outside of like 4 in the morning where it's open and the other ones aren't. I almost drove in there. I mean, it is cheaper, right? I guess you do have that going for you. Okay. I'm going to take a U-turn here. One of the few legal U-turns in America. Usually there's signs that says no U-turn. I think there should be signs with no U-turn, and then there should be a star in it. It's like, unless you're really, really good at this. Because some of them, they're just dangerous, but they're maneuverable. You can move a little bit to the right. This one's just really easy. You got 3 lanes, so it's hard to miss. I'm gonna be a puppet president, but I don't know who my puppet masters are gonna be. I'm gonna feel like I'm alone, But whoever has control of my iPhone, just put little messages in there like, hey, move to the right. Smell your food today. We have no power over your food. Okay. Yeah, you're going to get poisoned today, so don't do that. I also want to get poisoned and survive. It'll be like a 3-week poisoning. And then they'll bring me back to life. And then I'll do speeches. There's going to be nice medicine, natural cures. I'll die, but I won't be all the way out. Maybe I'll get an NDE out of it. Or I just die and go to heaven and it's Charlie Kirk 2.0. Because you thought Charlie Kirk was popular after that. You should have seen what would have happened with Trump if he had been killed. He would have died a Republican demigod, a pharaoh of sorts. But now, there's going to be no real idolization. I was playing this guy at anti-chess, and he said, here's my favorite song. Okay, let's see if we can... Well, we're going to evangelize a little bit. Chick-fil-A, they're generally Christian. Just a reminder to buy platinum. If you want to invest with a high floor and a low ceiling. Gold and silver, that's just flipping a coin at this point. It's so overpriced. Even with the USD collapsing and stuff. I mean, it's risky in the sense it'll never beat platinum, probably.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Can I get a name for the order?
How about Eric?
Eric, what can I get for you?
Can I get number 4?
Yeah, the 3 or 4.
4-piece.
Okay, and what drink would you like on it?
Dr. Pepper.
Okay, and then medium or large on that meal?
Large, please.
Okay, and what sauces would you like?
Ketchup and Chick-fil-A sauce.
Okay. Anything else?
I forget what Chris wanted. Isn't there a spicy or something?
Yeah, spicy classic or spicy deluxe sandwich.
A spicy?
The deluxe?
I don't know if it was a spicy.
Oh.
I think I might need to call him really quick. Can I call him really quick?